A great bit of news today and a massive, massive victory for common sense. The legislation that the previous Tory government brought in, which restricted and banned the use of puberty blockers on children, has been upheld. It's been found the legislation that was implemented by emergency legislation, as was the very quick rise in these procedures. The legislation has been deemed as lawful. And this was actually brought about because the original legislation was challenged by some trans group who decided that actually it's perfectly acceptable to prevent the normal, natural, biological development of children in the name of some sort of trans ideology. So originally the legislation was challenged, but the High Court have now confirmed that the legislation, which, like I say, was introduced as emergency legislation, as was the scale of the problem, and that has been upheld. And this is brilliant news for common sense. And this isn't me being anti-trans. And why do I feel like I have to say that? Because I do have to say that. Because someone will come for me and say, oh, well, you hate trans people. I don't hate trans people. In fact, I don't think I really know any trans people. And I don't hate the idea that someone who is a grown adult can make choices and decisions about their own lifestyle and how they wish to present themselves to the world. I totally accept that gender dysmorphia and body dysmorphia are things. People often believe that they are born into the wrong body, and the mental health implications and the rates of suicide, etc., amongst the trans community would imply that this is a real struggle for certain people. And if you are in that bracket, and if you are an adult and you choose to transition and you want to change your identity to better suit how you feel, then I'm say all for it. If that helps you to live a happy and healthy life, then good luck to you. However, I am strongly opposed, and this is what this legislation actually prevented, I'm strongly opposed to parents forcing, in some respects, but allowing children, and I'm talking about actual children here, prepubescent kids, from making decisions that will affect the rest of their lives. There are so many reports of young people who regret transitioning. It could well be that these feelings of gender dysmorphia, as they may not or may know it as at that age, are purely a phase, as we always used to call it. And by deciding at a young age that because a biological girl is showing quite a lot of masculine traits, that they should be prevented from going through puberty, they should be prevented from growing breasts and naturally developing into a woman, or the fact that a boy that may have some more feminine or flamboyant female tendencies is therefore going to be a girl and they should be put on puberty blockers to prevent them from developing natural male attributes, is akin, in my personal opinion, to the FGM and things like that we so look down upon. It's practiced in the Middle East and in parts of Africa. Yes, some children will grow up to be trans, and when they get to be adults, then there is a whole wealth of support available to those people, and I wish them Godspeed in whatever decision they make for themselves. All right. But quite often this is a phase, and if we were to put every little girl who shows masculine traits or every little boy who shows feminine traits on puberty blockers, so that they could then effectively and more efficiently transition in later life, then we're robbing the world of tomboys, and we're robbing the world of more feminine, creative males. And these girls may grow up to be gay, the boys may grow up to be gay, or either may grow up eventually to become trans. But it's far too early in their development to make these decisions for them, or allow their children or allow your children to make these decisions for themselves. I'm sure there were certain points in my childhood where I would have identified as all sorts of things, because you're confused. As you grow, as you develop, your brain is confused as to who you are. You're trying to find your place in the world. And if someone puts this in front of you as a potential solution, then as a child you're more likely to grab it without understanding the long-term repercussions. So well done to the High Court for preventing this legislation from being overturned, and shame on whoever challenges these particular bits of legislation which are there to protect our children and the next generation.